Hey, good morning, folks. How you guys doing today? Happy Wednesday. Hope this is going all right. It's not been having the best luck, unfortunately, but I think it was good yesterday afternoon, so I'm hoping it'll be good this morning. Uh, I have to have chat over here on my phone, which is yeah, sure, whatever. Do that. Now, yeah, come on, have this load. Hope you guys got your coffee. Nope, no look with T2L. That is weird. I think everything else is going. Yeah. How is it? Is it choppy, laggy? Is it doing okay? Good morning, Fallman. Okay. That's a login page at least. See if that'll go. All right, cool. Yeah, I just want to pull up the schedule here. We're going to work on part 2 here of our decision structures, or our, how we decide whether or not code should run. And this idea of if something, do this, otherwise do this, or if this, do this. If not that, how about this, or how about this one, or how about this one? Right, we can make those chains of those if, else if, else if, else ifs as big as we want. So as much as we want to decide, we can put ranges in, and we can make our code do something. So let's take a look. So we did the guessing game, right, where we said, hey, guess a number, and you're either too high, too low, or you guessed it right. And we just let them guess 5 times. And once we get to chapter 4, this will be a lot easier, but don't worry about that. You don't have to worry about that right now. We can just copy paste that chunk of code we had 5 times. It wasn't too big of a deal. Give this one a close. Oh my. Discord's freaking out. What is going on? Can't reach the D2L page. This doesn't bode well. Not sure what that all means. Come on. Well, I can open up NetBeans at least. All right, let's make sure I put this in the right folder. 1500. Winter. There we go. It's chapter 3, part 2. All right, so I've got chat up on my phone right now. I can't have it showing for some reason on my laptop. Don't know why it doesn't like it. So I'll be getting dizzy here checking my phone, but that should work okay. Shouldn't be too bad. Hey, good morning, Biggie. All right. So we had this idea, oops, too much, of we want to make our code do something if certain things were true, right? So we could say, okay, what if, and someone told me about Whiteboard. I don't know if I used Whiteboard yet with you guys. I'm like super excited that this is so much easier to draw in than what I was using before. Yeah, come on. My computer just doesn't like me today. Morning, Sam. Like, not using too much. Come on. All right, forget that. Maybe that'll behave a little better. Whiteboard. Nope, I can't find anything. It's not even Monday. I don't know why my computer's so grumpy. I just want to draw a picture. Nope, no pictures. I think it's got... Okay, maybe I can find it here. without my search. Whiteboard, there it is. That's the one I wanted. This one's so fun. Oh, and we don't need that one. Let's start a new whiteboard. Clear? Sure. Why not? Okay. So the idea here, right, is we know that you can usually take some sort of percentage score. So we're going to say a score that's usually between 0 and 100, right? So usually we have scores between 0 and 100. And what we want to do is we want to take your score and turn it into a letter. So we're going to turn that into a letter grade. Because everyone loves letter grades, right? So letter grades are either A minus, B plus, B minus, and on and on and on and on and on, right? So what we want to do is we want to figure out how do we compare a score and get the correct letter out. And we could do it a couple different ways, right? Probably the easiest way, right? We could say if your score is greater than or equal to, what was it, 94, then that means your grade is an A, right? 94 or higher, you get an A. And that should be in the syllabus if I can ever get D12 to load. Maybe it'll turn on eventually. Okay. Now, how do we determine if your score is an A minus? We got a couple choices here, right? You could say if score, sorry, my spelling here is not so good. Score is, oh, I gotta scroll this down a little bit. If score is less than 94 and score is greater than 90, greater than or equal to 90. You can use that one of those logical ands where you say, hey, do you want this and this? And if they're both true, the whole thing's true. This would work just fine, right? I think that's probably a little harder than it needs to be, right? And what we could do instead, so let's put this one on hold. This one's not bad here, but it would be easier if we said, if your score is greater than 94, you get an A, else, right, so if it's not greater than 94, else if your score is greater than or equal to 90, then it's an A minus. Grade is an A minus. Because now we're going to start chaining these together. We'll say, okay, well, if it's not greater than or equal to 94, let's check the next one. And let's check the next one. Because that way I don't have to have both conditions here in a single if. Either is perfectly fine, but I think less typing is always better. Right? And we're just going to work our way down. So let's take a look at that. So we'll say, okay, so if we need them to enter their score, we'll use scanner here. Scanner keyboard equals a new scanner. Given system.in. And yes, we're going to import scanner. And then we can have a double for score. And if it's a double value, right, we're going to need double.parseDouble. This is, we'll convert something into a double. And we can say keyboard.nextLine. Next line. So whatever they typed in, whatever the user types in, will convert to a double. Because then maybe your score might be 93.2, right? Usually you might get one decimal place with a score, so probably not just an integer, okay? And believe me, all of you fine folks out there do know about that one decimal place when it comes time for final grades, and you say, oh, you know, I'm really close to this, can we just round? So let's just not pretend they're integers, because no one treats it like an integer. Because you really want that rounding. Okay, so we should ask the user, right? We should say, hey, please enter your score. Please enter your score from 0 to 100. 100, like that, right? And then we'll get the score. So whatever they type in with keyboard next line, we'll take that, hand it to double.parseDouble. It gets turned into a double, and we can save it here as score. Now we can start doing our logic. We can say if score is greater than or equal to 94, oh, sorry, there. Yeah, get the parenthesis up there. Then we're going to have a grade. So we could say here, your grade is an A. Sure, why not? And then on this side, we could say else if score is greater than or equal to 90. And more curly braces, please. Those ones. That one's going to be an A minus. Right, and I'm just going to copy paste this here. And we're just going to keep on changing. So then we have an 87, right, is a B plus. And then we have greater than an 84, I think, is a B. And then we have greater than an 80 is a B minus. And greater than a 77 is a C plus. And greater than a 74 is a C. And greater than a 70 is a C minus. And greater than a 67 is a D plus. And then greater than something else, what is it? Is it 64 is a D? And then if it's not any of those, right? Here, I'm just going to have one last else and say, oops, I just wanted the system out. Your grade is an F. I don't think we have a D minus, do we? And I'll give that a little format, try and clean that up. So what happens here, because this is a chain, right? If is attached to the else, is attached to the if, is attached to the else, is attached to the if, is attached to the else, is attached to the if. I can't even talk. If they're all attached here, then one and only one of these will run. Okay? They are mutually exclusive because they are chained together. So chaining is very helpful. Right? If we know we want one and only one of these to run, a chain is probably your best bet. This is a chain of mutually exclusive if-else if statements. And you don't have to have the default else. That's just usually how it works out, that you're going to have this ending else, which is a default case, where if it doesn't match any of the others, that's fine. So you don't have to have it, though. Depending on what you're trying to do, sometimes the default is helpful. And the reason I like this, again, is it's less typing because I know if score was greater than or equal to 94, I'm never going to consider any of these other values. So I never need to say, hey, is the score less than something else? Because I'm starting at the top and I'm going down and down and down and down and down and down and down. So once you pass one of these top ifs, I know you can't be greater than that. Because if you were, you would have run already. Okay, we could do the exact same thing with just a little more work. This is not mutually exclusive, and more typing. But it's okay, right? But it still works. We could say, again, if score here, that one's fine. And then we could say if score is less than 94 and, sorry, 2 ampersands, score is greater than or equal to 90, you get an A minus. Give that a format. So without the else, these are no longer mutually exclusive. It's just if this is true, it'll run, and then if this one's true, it'll run. The only way that I'm going to make it exclusive is by making sure these conditions can't be true in more than one place. Oh man, I'm so excited I could get some follows, but he's been banned. All right. And we can just rinse and repeat. Then if we are less than 90, but greater than or equal to 87, that's a B plus. Right? And then if we are less than 87, but greater than or equal to 84, that's a regular B. And if we are less than 84, but greater than or equal to 80, we're a B minus. Right? And then less than 80, but greater than 77 is a C plus. And less than 77, but greater than 74 is a C. And less than 74, but greater than or equal to 70 is a C minus. Oops, C minus. Right, so you see these are not mutually exclusive, and I have to have the conditions in here to make sure that only one of these conditions will be true. 67 is a D plus. There we go. and less than 67, but greater than, I don't know, 64 or something. We said it was a D. Now, in this case, I can't have just an else, right? Because the else would only be attached to this last one here. So you need to be careful that you don't have an else. So then my last condition here is if my score is less than 64, here, your grade's an F. So do you see here? So we can't use an else. This else here. Else here. Only be attached to the if above. So if there was an else here, one of these two would run. Would be mutually exclusive. One and only one would run. So it's just an if now. And sometimes that makes your default a little bit trickier. I mean, it's not too terrible to say, okay, it's less than 64. This one's okay. It wasn't too hard. But this can't be an else. You know, let me move that right to over here. I'm going to put that over there. That way it lines up a little better. Makes me feel a little happier. Okay, so both options do the same thing. It's just your choice. You okay with that so far? We give it a try, right? We wrote some code. Let's try it. So what score do you guys want to pretend to have? We'll see what we get. I want to throw out a score in chat. We'll see what you get. Okay, I think it's running a little better now. We'll see. 76. All right, you are aiming high, sir. Your grade is a C. We only had it run one time. Did I miss it over here? Would have expected to get it twice. That's interesting. Oh, you know, I think it probably didn't build all the way. Let me try it one more time. I have to change my little compile option here. And then run. 76. Okay, there we go. Now I'm happier. I'm happy. So we get it twice. Good. Okay, that making sense so far? That's our if, else if, else ifs. Let's see if I can get desire to learn to pop up now. See if my computer's any happier. Nope. That's funny. That's really funny. Why would it do that? All right, I can open up the actual book too. That's fine. It's no big deal. No big deal. So let's see what else we had on schedule here. Yes, the yeah, couple things. We did comparing strings, right? I guess I could just open it up. That other project. Nope. 1500. Chapter 3. Let's see if we didn't. Yep, we did this strings with dot equals. Good. Glad we did that one. This one's really important, and especially because you can use the ignore case is really nice. When we do strings, we say, where is it in here? Equals ignore case. Because you don't know what your users are going to type. Some people like uppercase, some people like lowercase. So equals ignore case is really helpful. Really helpful here. Maybe we can have variables nested inside ifs, inside of other ifs, inside of else's, anywhere we want. You can go any level you need, which is all good. Let's take a look at this one more time here. If I wanted to do something else, so say if I wanted to say, hey, here's a string for grade equals A here, inside of this if statement here, right? And then later on I wanted to, like, maybe each of these would assign grade. So then down here I'd want to say like grade equals B. But now Java's mad at me. And it says, oh, can't find variable grade. Can't find symbol variable grade. Sorry, it's a little bit of a mouthful there. Doesn't know what grade is. Remember these curly braces here? say they define scope or ownership, or it belongs to, is what I'll typically say. So when you declare a variable inside a set of curly braces, you can only use it inside those curly braces. So string grade only exists from this curly brace to this curly brace. And as soon as that curly brace is done, Java's actually going to throw it away. It has this really cool garbage collection process where it frees up memory that's not being used, and it's really smart to keep people from doing dumb things with computers. So if we define grade inside of a curly brace, we can't use it outside the curly brace. So what you need to do then is so if you want a variable to be set inside the if, define it outside first. So we'll say, hey, I'm going to have a string for grade. I don't need to give it a value right away. I could if you want to, but that's fine. And then inside I just say, hey, grade equals A. And then I can say grade equals B. Or no, sorry, A minus here, right? And on and on and on. So I can assign the grade down there. And then I can cut all these out here. And when I'm done, I can print. Your grade is N, and then add in there the grade variable. Like how we would say hi to people with by name. Oh, and it says, hey, grade might not have been initialized. So it's smart enough to know we said there's a thing called grade, and it might not have ever gotten set. So let's go fix that. Let's do A minus, we'll do B plus, we'll do B, B minus, C plus, gamma, and a C, and a C minus, and a D plus, and a D, or an F. Okay, so now notice this, that does go away because we have this last else, right? Java was smart enough to say, oh, okay, you've got an else here. One of these will set it here. Let me take out some of that white space, right? One of these will set grade to a value. We're happy here. The problem is if we do this again, this is the, I don't know, string for other grade here, and we try and do that same process, right? We said like other grade equals an A. This is really long here just to do all this, but that's okay. It's okay. We'll do other grade. Same warning, right? Might not have been initialized. Okay, that's all right. We'll keep going here. I'm just going to paste them all in and I'll come back and edit. I feel like that might be faster. Who knows? So A minus, B plus, B minus, C plus, C minus, D plus, D, F. That warning doesn't go away, right? Because Java says there's no else here. There's no guarantee that this gets set. So if this is your desired method here with a bunch of ifs instead of if else's, that's okay. Nothing wrong with it. We need to move this default here. So if we are using, so if we set other grade outside the if blocks, if we declare outside the if blocks, set it to the default.